Well, hello there. How's everybody doing? It's your boy, and this is my first ever kind of fitness tips and tricks video. So those of you guys that don't know who I am, my name is Nolan. I've been a personal trainer / strength and conditioning coach for the past 4 years. I'm 24 years old, so still pretty young. I still have a lot to learn, but I do think that I have some kind of good information that I can give to beginners that are just starting out. I've trained multiple athletes in the past and a lot of general population, and even the advanced athletes, some of them could not do some basic movements properly. So those of you guys that are just beginning, I'm gonna give you guys some kind of tips and tricks on how to kind of progress your lifting in a safe but very efficient manner. Okay, so I got a little whiteboard with me here today. So first tip that I'm gonna give you guys is to just keep it simple. Okay, sorry if the mic's hitting the board. I don't want to kind of get it in the way, but yeah, so you just want to keep it simple. Okay, so there's a lot of writing on the board. It doesn't seem simple, but I'll break it down. Okay, so you want to break it down into basically 5 movement patterns. Okay, so you have squat, lunge, hinge, pull, and push. Okay, these first 3 have to do with legs, and then the last 2 have to do with the upper body. Okay, first one, squat. Okay, so if you're just starting out, there's a bunch of different squat variations, okay? Don't get caught up with your favorite influencer doing their workout, okay? Because it's not gonna work for you, okay? For you in the long run, the best thing to do is to pick a squat variation and get really, really, really good at that squat variation, okay? You should probably do this kind of thing for the first year of lifting. Just get really good at squatting, really good at lunging, really good at hinging, pulling, and pushing, okay? And then you can start doing the fancy stuff that you see all your favorite people doing, because at that point you have a really good foundation, and yeah, it'll probably be safe for you to start pushing the intensity and actually seeing what your body can do. Okay, so your first one with back squats, I'm gonna maybe record a couple of these to kind of give you guys an idea. But you got your back squat, goblet squat, and bodyweight squat. So back squat just with the bar, okay? If you're not at that spot yet, I wouldn't recommend any beginner do back squats. So basically back squat is off the table. Body weight or goblet squat, okay? Make sure you get a really good body weight squat before you move up to goblet squat. So basically you wanna start at the bottom and move your way up as you get better at squatting. Yeah, that's basically my tips for that one. You got lunges, you got your split squats, your Bulgarians or RFEs, and your walking lunges / reverse lunges. There's 4 different variations there. Realistically, you only have to pick one and then try to get really, really good at that one variation, okay? You can pick a couple, okay, but if you're just starting out beginning, I would recommend, if you're just starting out, I would recommend either the walking lunge or the split squat, okay? Mainly because a walking lunge is just kind of a long stride, so it's kind of familiar, but not really. You need a little bit more balance and coordination for a walking lunge. So if the coordination is an issue for you, then I would recommend doing your split squat. So basically just standing in one spot and then going up and down. That'll kind of hit you there in that split squat aspect. For the hinge, you have your deadlifts, your RDLs, and your hip bridges. It's basically kind of all encompassing of your hinge patterns. Again, you're gonna wanna go up the ladder here. So you wanna go hip bridge to start. So get used to that hinge pattern, okay? I see a lot of people try to go to RDLs or deadlifts right away and they just look like they're gonna break something, okay? RDL, okay? That's a really good one for you to do. And honestly, deadlift, you don't need to ever deadlift. There's no reason to ever deadlift unless you find it fun or it's something you wanna do for like your sport or anything like that. So try to stick to hip bridges and RDLs, at least to start, just start with hip bridges, get that hinge pattern down, and then move up to RDLs when you feel comfortable. There are a lot of cues with an RDL in order to do it properly. I might do a little video on actually how to hinge and do RDLs properly in the future, because I find that's the pattern that people struggle with the most, so yeah. And then you have your pull and push, which are your upper body patterns, okay? So you have pull, you have your shoulder high pulls, so you got kind of more of a rear delt, mid trap kind of thing. You got your dumbbell and barbell rows, which are gonna be more obviously for that lat and kind of lower trap, mid trap kind of thing. And then you have your lateral raise. I added lateral raises in here because it's kind of a pull, right? You're raising the arm, it's pulling it up. Not really, but I couldn't find anywhere else to put it in. It's not really a pushing movement. So yeah, so you have these ones here. These are your main two that you're gonna focus on for the pulling, for the shoulder, right? You have your high pull, or you have your kind of reverse fly, is what I like to call it. Other people might call them something different. But then you have your dumbbell and barbell rows, okay? There's a million of those online. You can kind of pick one and just kind of stick with it and then get really good at that. I wouldn't recommend barbell rows for beginners. Try to find a dumbbell row that best suits you and that you're comfortable with and that you can kind of do really well. And you can maybe progress throughout the year that, that you're starting lifting, right? And then your last one is your lateral raise, so just kind of bringing it out to the side. Yeah, that's basically it. You want to do the lateral raises, right? Because you want to have all three heads of the shoulder getting hit. And then your last one here is push, okay? So you got that push movement is going to be chest press or overhead press, okay? Nothing really crazy here. I would honestly start out by doing push-ups for chest, and then for overhead press, if you have a machine, I would recommend just doing a machine to start, especially if you've never done anything in the gym. I am a huge fan of free weights just because it does hit a lot of stabilizing and core muscles that you don't get with machines. But if you're just starting out and you've never overhead pressed before, use a machine, actually get some strength in that motion, and then you can kind of move on to the free weights because then you actually have strength in the shoulder to move the weight. It might feel a little different when you move to free weights, but it's better to be safe than to be sorry, right? So yeah, dumbbell chest press or push-ups depending on how far along you are. There are some beginners that can kind of go right to dumbbell chest press. They're like strong with push-ups just naturally, and then they kind of go to dumbbell chest press. But again, this is like a year thing, right? You want to pick something that you can kind of progress and get really good at, and then, you know, throughout that year, depending on how quickly you kind of progress and how comfortable you become with the movements, that'll kind of determine how much you move up the ladder, right? So from here, you go from dumbbell or push-ups to dumbbell to barbell. You never really have to go barbell unless you find it fun and you want to. But yeah, so that's kind of my tips for keeping it simple, right? You just want to pick one of each and then get really good at it. And then throughout the year that you kind of are working, you can change it up, you can try out something new, but pick one of these in each category to start and then get really good at that for at least 4 or 5 months, in my opinion. Like you want to get really good. Like if you're a beginner and have never done anything in the gym before, I would really recommend doing that kind of thing. So yeah, we're gonna move on to point number 2. Okay, so moving on to point number 2. Oh, got an itchy nose. Moving on to point number 2, we have technique over everything, okay? Reason why I say this is because a lot of people that are just starting out in the gym, they want to lift the heaviest weight they can right away. And honestly, that's not how your mindset should be. Your mindset should be, I want to be in this for the long run, and I want to do this properly rather than quick, okay? Because fitness is not a quick thing, right? Your dream physique or your potential will be reached in maybe 2 to 3 years, right? You know, max potential. And then from there, you get very small increments after 2 to 3 years, maybe 4 years of lifting, right? And then after that is very small and incremental. So 2 years, you'll see big change, and then 3, 4, you'll be getting pretty close to your max potential. So that you're in this for the long run. When you're starting to lift, you're looking for longevity. You're not just kind of looking to get that instant gratification, right? So technique over everything. You don't want to get hurt, right? And you want to do things properly, okay? Because then that year and a half later, like I was talking about in the last point, if you can move properly, it's going to be very easy for you to start putting on weight to that bar or putting, you know, more weight on the dumbbell, right? Getting a heavier dumbbell and starting to move it because your technique is so good that your body is very efficient at moving in those patterns, right? So technique over everything. You don't want to get hurt, and it'll make it easier in the long run when you start lifting heavy, because then your body will kind of be used to moving in those patterns, and it'll be very efficient in those areas. Okay, so don't get hurt. Okay, make sure you can actually execute the movements with precision, okay, before you start trying to really increase the weights. Okay. All right, so number 3 here is going to be consistency. Okay, where a lot of people fall short when it comes to lifting and working out is they are not consistent enough with how often they do it. Okay, lifting once a week, sure, it can have some benefit, right? But if you're really looking to improve your physique or improve your strength, improve your body composition, going for a run or lifting weights once a week isn't going to cut it. Okay, this goes for men and women, right? This video is for everybody. Okay, so consistency. You want to aim for a minimum of 2 days per week for like 20 to 30 minutes of high intensity exercise. Okay, if you can't be in the gym for an hour, find a workout online. Okay, that's like a beginner HIIT workout or something like that, and do that. Okay, if you're going for a run, go for like a 20-minute run to start, 15-20 minutes. You don't have to go super long, and you don't have to go super hard. Just get into the habit. Okay, we are creatures of habit. If you get into the habit of doing it, right, it'll then eventually become easier to start pushing yourself, because now you're already working out. You may as well put the work in and actually get the benefits that you can out of that workout. Okay, so being consistent is very important. And again, if you're having trouble being consistent, force yourself to do something on Monday and on Friday, or Monday and Thursday. Pick 2 days of the week where you are forced to do something. That thing could be a 30-minute walk, some kind of physical activity, okay, on those days where it'll eventually benefit you in the future. Because if you designate 2 days per week with a time slot to doing some physical activity and you stay disciplined, eventually you will reap the benefits, because now you can go to the gym, right? You can go to the gym and now you can lift weights because you're used to that habit of having that time, right? You can go harder, you can go more intense, okay? That's the gist of it. But yeah, try to be consistent, because without consistency, the results will not come. It sucks, but that's the way it is. If you're in school, right, you don't want to do half the schoolwork you have to do, maybe even all of it, right? But you're disciplined because you have to do it in order to get the benefit of getting the degree. You have to be consistent. You have to get into the gym 2 days per week in order to see those benefits eventually down the line, right? So you kind of 2 and 2 together, right? You kind of connect the dots. So yeah, that's my third point. Moving on to number 4. All right, so point number 4, we have don't change everything, okay? And what I mean by this is do not change your entire diet, your entire daily activity plan all at once, okay? For the most part, for the majority, you won't be able to stick to this kind of plan, okay? What you're gonna be able to do though is change very small bits and pieces, okay, in order to get to your end goal, okay? So if your goal, right, you don't want to start lifting yet or working out, that's not kind of your thing, but you're down to change up something in your diet, right? Change up something small in your diet first. So have a healthier breakfast, and then the rest of the day can be whatever. But start small, and then eventually, each day, each week, I'd say each week, okay, try to take something out of that diet and replace it with something better, or just take it out completely, right? Just lower the calories, right? If you want to get into the gym, again, like I said in the last point, be consistent. So start small, start with 1 or 2 days a week, ideally 2 days, and then like 20 minutes of physical activity, whether that be a walk, a run, a little light beginner HIIT workout, something, right? Do that, okay? And then eventually, you can start gradually adding more days to that week of working out. You can add in more times. You can work out for longer, right? If you try to do everything, diet, training, right? There's a very high chance that it'll eventually burn you out and you will stop everything, okay? This happens a lot with people. There are very few that I've seen actually do that. I know one person actually that has just decided he wanted to eat and work out and be a bodybuilder and instantly did it, everything. That's not very common. A lot of the time, right, people don't stick with everything that they change. So if you change a small thing and you kind of commit to that small thing, eventually you can be adding more and more things on top of that. So yeah, that's my fourth point. Moving on to number 5. All right, number 5, it is a lifelong journey. Fitness and health is a lifelong journey, okay? This kind of ties into a few of the other points that I talked about, but do not be in it for the instant gratification, okay? Because if you're in it for the instant gratification, I'm sorry, but you're gonna be let down, because this stuff takes years, like I said in a prior point, and you should be doing this to better yourself. You shouldn't be doing this, you know, to look good for others. You know, that might be a reason, right? But your main goal should be to live a longer and healthier life, you know, because that's what realistically this is gonna do. Lifting, cardio, and eating healthier are gonna help you live a longer and healthier life for you and your family and whoever else you're around, right? But yeah, so it's a lifelong journey. Don't rush into it thinking that you're gonna get huge right away within 3 months, because that's not how it's gonna be. It's the hard truth, and yeah, you should be trying to just better yourself for the longevity. Okay, moving into number 6. All right, so for number 6 here, we have blood work. Okay, it's never a bad idea to get your blood work done to know what's going on inside your body. Before you start working out, you know, it might be a little bit expensive depending on what kind of blood work you get, but if you start working out and you have some underlying issue that all of a sudden gets aggravated when you start lifting, when you start running, that's gonna be an issue, right, that you're gonna have to deal with. It's better to know beforehand so that you can actually modify your training and get advice from a doctor, you know, a physician, before you start doing it, because then you can help avoid a crisis. Yeah, so we got number 7 here. It's just sleep, okay? Sleep is the most important thing when it comes to working out, training, diet, improving your life, anything, okay? Sleep and hydration honestly go hand in hand. If you do not get a lot of sleep, trust me, getting more sleep will improve your mood. It'll also improve your body's recovery when you do start training and working out, because your body does not recover during the day, like at all, basically. It only recovers at night. So the longer you sleep, so let's say you get a whole 8 hours, if it happens to be that severe, right? So yeah, just get your blood work done, see where you're at, if you're healthy, and yeah, that's kind of a good starting point. A whole 8 hours of recovery. You sleep 4 or 5 hours, you get 4 or 5 hours of recovery. You see what I'm saying? So being out late, waking up early, not the play when you're trying to build muscle, improve your life, be healthier, okay? Also, your body doesn't just recover muscles during the night, obviously. It recovers all your organs, it cleanses your brain, cleanses everything, gets rid of all the toxins that have been built up throughout the day, and then kind of excretes them, right? Or gets ready to excrete them in the morning. So it is a very, very good thing to get your sleep on track. If you have issues with sleep, again, see your doctor, get your blood work done, see what's going on, okay? All right, so the 8th point here, number 8. We have, it's kind of a troll, not really a troll, more serious than actually not serious, but don't deadlift on back day, please. You will see a lot of influencers and a lot of people doing RDLs, rack pulls, deadlifts on their back day. If you're doing a deadlift, RDL, or rack pull properly, you should be feeling it majority in your hamstrings and your glutes, a little bit in the quads, just because you have that little bit of extension at the top, and maybe a little bit in your back for that stabilization, okay, for that core stabilization. That's what your erectors do. They stabilize your spine, okay? They do have a little bit of extension, okay? But for the most part, okay, you're going to want to do deadlifts and any kind of hinge on a leg day, okay? There's no difference between an RDL and a deadlift. That is okay. There's a difference between an RDL and a deadlift, but they work the same shit, okay? RDL, people do on leg day for hamstrings. Deadlift, people do on back day. There's no difference. You're working the same movement pattern. What changes, right? Like there's no one here explaining what changes, okay? You're in a more bent over position, not really, right? Because if you're in a hinge, you're hinging at the hips, you're just squatting down, your knees are bending a bit more on a normal deadlift. So I don't know who started this deadlift rack pull on back day, but it's gotta stop. It's really gotta stop. It's better off you just do back extension on a back extension machine. Don't do hyper extensions, just do back extension, okay? You can do body weight, you can hold a plate, you can use bands, but do not, please, if you're starting lifting and you wanna get into deadlifting, please do not do deadlifts on back day. Please don't. If anyone tells you I'm wrong, okay, I don't know what to tell you, but they're wrong. Like, you should not go to Squat University. You know what? I'm shouting him out. Go to Squat University. Ask him if you should deadlift on back day. See what he thinks about it. This guy's got a PhD. Okay, he's smarter than me. Okay, he doesn't do any of that crap on back day. So yeah, you go ask him. Okay, but yeah, don't do that crap on back day. All right, number 9 on the list here, we got motivation. Okay, and this is a tough one. Okay, because not every day you're going to be motivated, especially when you're starting out, okay? There are very few people that can just push through and always be motivated. I don't want to say I'm one of those people that can do that. There are some days when I don't want to work out, but then I kind of think about, my reason why, I want a good future, the better I look, the better I can perform. The better that's going to be for employment opportunities, personal training opportunities. More people are going to want to train with me, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Maybe buy programs if I do that online eventually in the future. But yeah, like I have my reasons why. I want to live a great life. I also kind of came to this conclusion. I guess it was this year. I kind of thought, I don't know if I saw it as a quote or if I kind of thought about it on my own, but it was every day that you don't do something, that's progress lost, or like that you don't get that day back, like it's gone. Now, I'm not saying like if you miss a day, it's the end of the world, right? But if you're really, really serious with training and you want to get serious with health, right? And you want to get there efficiently, not fast, you want to get there efficiently, okay? That's a big difference. You can't be skipping days where you can just because you don't want to, right? It's more about being disciplined than it is being motivated, Most days you're gonna have to be disciplined more than motivated, It's just the way it is. You can have external motivation or you can have reasons to be motivated, but motivation isn't always there, okay? You want to be disciplined because that's what's gonna stick for the longevity of it, right? So try to be disciplined. Motivation, you can find it somewhere, whether that's speeches, family members, internal reasons, you want a fancy car, whatever your motivation is, find that and use it to help you stay disciplined. Last point, we got number 10. I'm just gonna kind of do these in the same clip here, but you wanna have fun, right? You wanna have fun with it, you wanna challenge yourself, try to push yourself doing things that you never thought you could, It's not going to be the easiest, okay, I'm not going to lie, fitness and stuff for those of you that have never been athletes, like I played a high level hockey, high level baseball my entire life, going to school for fitness, I'm a personal trainer, like I've always been in this kind of environment, so it's not very foreign to me, right? It's very easy for me to get kind of in the zone and have fun with what I'm doing because it's been something I've been doing my whole life. It's something that I've really enjoyed, more so in the past 4 years. Yeah, just have fun with it, man. Find your own joys in it, whether that be the progress, the pain. Some of you freaks out there might like being in pain when you're working out, which is, I kind of like it sometimes. But if that's what motivates you, whatever. But yeah, find whatever you can to kind of enjoy what you're doing, because if you're having fun with it, it'll make it so much easier. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm just gonna put this down here. I do have this Bluetooth mic, and I hope it sounds great. I did record this 2 weeks ago actually, and I just decided to re-record it because the audio was just really bad and I didn't like how I was talking. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I will be back with a bunch more of these videos. I'm probably gonna do a programming 101 for beginners or just in general to go more in depth on that first point that I had. because it can be kind of daunting not knowing what to do. Not saying that you have to know what to do when you go into the gym, but it makes it a lot easier if you do know what you're doing, or have some kind of guidance, so that you can kind of follow along a path. It is better than nothing to just go in there and do whatever, okay, with no rhyme or reason, but it is also nice to kind of know what you're doing, and kind of have a reason for what it is, right? So yeah, hope you guys do enjoy. Stay on the lookout for that video next week. It'll be part of my kind of Fitness Friday routine. And yeah, until next time, enjoy yourselves. Have a great weekend. I love you guys so much.